Business news from the Capital Region. This is Washington Business Report with ABC7 national correspondent Rebecca Cooper.
Thanks for joining us for a look at business and finance in the Washington region. Coming up, my one-on-one interview with the editor-in-chief of More magazine, how adapting and evolving have translated into some history-making moves. Also today, personal branding is pivotal in the workplace. We'll share the 4 tips that make it work. Plus, we now know that the government data breach hit more than 21 million people, but we don't yet know exactly what happened when the stock market, a major airline, and the Wall Street Journal all had to shut down because what are being called glitches. We'll try to connect some dots in our roundtable discussion today. But first, the strength of the internet has forced the magazine industry to get smarter and evolve. Lessons for all of us. Publishers are experimenting with business models, formats, and other variables, all in an effort to stay relevant and keep the ad revenue coming in. The head of More magazine teaches us that reinvention is not only possible, but profitable, especially if you can get the First Lady on board. Leslie Jane Seymour, welcome to Washington Business Report. The magazine industry, people feel like, has been in a bit of turmoil ever since the recession. More keeps growing in visibility and impact in new readers. What are you doing to keep growing and going?
You got to keep going out there. You got to keep trying. You've got to reinvent. I've reinvented More magazine 3 times now, and this is the latest incarnation. We have a bigger size. In February, we went to a bigger size, better paper, and just more in-depth lifestyle coverage, much more visual. You have to keep moving. I mean, what you realize about business today is business is changing faster and faster and faster. And as the creative side of that, you have to keep up. If you sit back and you think it's going to come to you, good luck. And I would say that a lot of the crisis that the magazine industry had was we were used to like a very slow kind of pace, and they weren't going to change. And that's not how it works anymore. And so the people who have jumped in and said, what can I do next? How do I embrace technology? How do I move ahead? That's what you do.
It was almost the perfect storm for the magazine industry. You had the recession, so you were losing ad dollars in every different industry that depended on ad dollars.
Right.
You had digital moving people away from any type of print to reading things, wanting more things online. So many different things going on at once, and yet magazines still have a healthier audience than television, than print newspaper.
The readership never went away with magazines. Readers have been there all along. What changed was, where are the advertisers? Where did they go? They went to direct contact with the consumer, either through their own websites, through outreach, all that stuff like that. That's why when we rethought More, what we said is, what is More's real purpose? Its purpose is to take you away. Remember the old Calgon bath ads? It's like a Calgon bath. And if it's not going to be like that, it's that moment where you can unplug. You don't have to be on your phone. You cannot multitask when you read a magazine, okay? So you take it with you, you retire from the scene, you relax. We have to be the leisure activity. We have to be the personal connection. Many, many businesses have seen when they cut out print, they die terrible deaths. It is part of the package. Look, when I started, 30 years ago, it was the entire package. Now it is a key link to the consumer, and you have to do the things that no other medium can do. And as you're seeing today, we're here with the More Impact Awards. One of the things that we're launching is social commerce platform. The idea is, instead of relying just on advertising, get more from the reader. You already have this connection. We are opening a store where we are selling experiences, and these are one-of-a-kind experiences. You can't buy them in Bloomingdale's.
Give me an example.
They are lunch with me. They are having our fashion director come and edit your closet for you. We have Robin Wright, who is one of our introductory people here.
The actress from House of Cards. Very well known in Washington.
She has a boat that she's renting out, and you can have a pajama party on there with her.
And what a lot of magazines are doing more and more, but you've been doing it for a long time, it's how I got to know you, is they're actually taking Washington seriously.
Yes.
You were ahead of that trend. You've been here.
Yes.
And now you've made history. It's
yes.
the first magazine to ever have a First Lady as guest editor.
As a guest editor.
Why did you think that mattered?
Because, first of all, Mrs. Obama is quite unique. She's a woman out there who is really, she's so educated. She's so smart. She wants to have an impact on the world. She is trying to change the world to make it a better place for young girls, for kids who are not moving enough in their lives, for all those kinds of making us eat better. She is exactly who my ideal more reader is. And so when I said, she'd already been on the cover twice, and it's like, and she's a bestseller. So if you're a good marketer and a good business person, you say, gee, I've got that best-selling item. Now what can I do? How do I improve it? New and improved. Let me go to them with this nutty idea of having her be the guest editor, which we've never done. And they actually bid.
So let me just ask you a little bit more about business, because you got out of college, Duke University, an aspiring writer. You admit freely, didn't know much about fashion. Your first job was for a trade publication, and when your editor asked you what trends were popular for the next season, you had no idea.
I didn't know what I was doing.
And now, many years later, you have to also be focused on not just the writing, not just the content, but the business side.
The business side.
What have you learned about running a business that you wish more women and more people in general were being prepared for?
I actually think it's wonderful that you have to know the business side of anything you do today, because I think it's a little bit weird to be able to go out there. It's kind of a little bit Ricky Ricardo of, Lucy spends the money and he makes it. It's very weird. And that's very old-fashioned. Today you need to know, if you're in a creative field, you do need to know where the dresses are going. You do need to know how much the fabric costs. And it's actually more interesting. If you're an intelligent person, you get to have more control. You get to, and remember that creativity is a lot about solving problems. And sometimes solving problems often are financial problems. And that is really interesting. So I love being involved in the financial part of the magazine and understanding how things work and how you can tweak things and change them. And I don't know, it makes my life so much more interesting. But I'm a learner. And
now you're even going on trips to Asia with Mrs. Obama covering policy. So it gets cliche to ask busy women this when we don't always ask our busy male CEOs for the show. But
start asking them.
I like the balance question. And you are a busy woman with kids and a family and a big title and a lot that goes with it. And you take time to then really get in deep to your subject, like the trip to Cambodia and all over Asia to do this edition. How do you balance?
Balance is one of those kooky bad words. I think we got to throw it out because, our generation thought, we looked at the previous generation, they had no balance. They either worked or they were at home. They didn't have a choice. And we tried to do this crazy thing. We thought we were going to do it all at once. Really, the thing I've come to conclusion is you're going to do great here, and then you're going to drop it, and then you're going to do great there. It's this oscillating kind of thing. It's not having it all. This having it all is just like the worst phrase ever invented. No one can have it all. And right at the height of when I was exploding, trying to have it all, and it wasn't working when I was at Mary Claire and I was traveling the world and I had these little kids, I literally thought, I'm going to run down my little suburban street naked because I'm going to scream and they're going to put me away because I can't do this.
And then what's the other secret? Water every day, exercise every day, B12 shots?
Oh my God.
How do you keep the hour pace?
You have to keep your energy up. I'm always trying something new. I've been exercising my whole life, but you have to reinvent that, keep reinventing everything that you do, reinvent how you eat, reinvent how you exercise. But again, I'm a constant learner. I'm always finding new stuff. I think I have ADHD, to be honest. That's how I got into this business.
I think everyone in the journalism world does.
And you're always picking up
we self-medicate by finding this profession.
What's the newest thing? What's more fun? What can we do differently? But energy is required. And if you don't have a lot of energy, I naturally have a lot of energy, it would be very hard.
Leslie Jane Seymour, teaching women how to have more, teaching business leaders how to do more.
Yes.
Thanks for joining us.
Have an impact.
Thanks for joining us on Washington Business Report.